family. Tank Commander Zulu back at you once again in the Real Man Movement. Today, here at the Real Man Movement, I want to deal with the understanding of an Oedipus complex. What is an Oedipus complex? And how does it impact a man with his relationship between himself and his mother, and women in general? Let's deal with the Oedipus complex today, here at the Real Man Movement with Tank Commander Zulu. Fire in the hole, baby. We just pulled up to the gas station and we filled it up. This segment right here is the filler up segment. Watch what happens when we fill it up. About to pop wheelies on this thing. Real Man Movement, raw strength. Come on. Come on. Can't be beat. Won't quit. Filled her up, baby. To the rim. Salute, family. Tank Commander Zulu back at you once again in the Real Man Movement. Before we get into the content today, which is the Oedipus complex, I would like to invite everyone to become a subscriber to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe today. And if you are a subscriber, salute once again to you. Also, give a thumbs up to the videos. It's much appreciated by the Tank Commander. And it also helps the videos go forward and gain more visibility. Now back to the topic of discussion. The Oedipus complex. And what is the Oedipus complex? And how does it affect or impact a real man and also a real woman? Listen, the Oedipus complex is something that psychologist Sigmund Freud, so-called the father of psychology, he kind of pieced this understanding together concerning the male's desire towards his mother and his disdainment towards his father. I mean, Sigmund Freud had kind of a weird concept of things, and I do have a degree in psychology, so I did study these things pretty deeply. But Sigmund Freud, he had somewhat of an understanding that a lot of the male issues stem from a sexual desire that the male has at a young age towards his mother. Weird stuff, man. But he calls this understanding the Oedipus complex. And where he gets this Oedipus complex from is from Greek mythology. I'm gonna make it short. There was a guy named Oedipus, and what winds up happening is that he was given away. He was, given away as a child. His father got rid of him, so to speak, because it was a prophecy, so to speak, that he would come back and kill him. Now, this is Greek mythology. So what he did, instead of taking care of the child, he took him and hid him in the woods and left him there for the animals and things, for the kid to die. And what happens, another man comes and rescues him and takes him to another household, and they raise him as his own. So he doesn't know who his real father and mother is. To make a long story short, what Oedipus, and his name is Oedipus Rex, what Oedipus winds up doing is not knowingly killing his birth father, the one who set him in the woods and left him there to die. Oedipus winds up killing him. And when he kills him, his wife becomes available, which is actually Oedipus' mother, but he doesn't know that. So once he kills his father, his wife becomes available, which is his mother, and Oedipus winds up marrying his mother and having 4 children with her. Now, that's what that Sigmund Freud theology concerning the Oedipus complex, that's where it comes from. And I'm loosely saying that. You can look it up yourself, Google it. It's all over the place if you really want to find it. But being that I'm a psychology major and I have a degree in psychology, it was something that I was very interested in. how did Sigmund Freud take that particular story and use it to try to identify the relationship between a man and his mother, and that where some of the things that can taint the relationship begin. Well, once again, like I said, as many papers as I have written, as much research as I have done, I believe the Oedipus complex is not exactly what Sigmund Freud outlines it to be. But now he does have some validity in some of the things that he's trying to get across here. And without going into a long, boring psychology type of dissertation, so to speak, we'll just put it this way. When a man depends solely on his mother for everything, from his infancy, there's a dependency there, which is natural. But it gets to a stage in life where that particular dependency has to regress. In other words, the man can't continue to depend on his mother at the age of 20 and 21 like he did when he was at the age of 2 and 3. It's some distance that has to take place there. But the way Sigmund Freud pretty much coins the phrase, or the understanding, is that a man sometimes looks at his mother almost like he looks like a wife. And, you know, I found it weird that Sigmund Freud would come up with that particular kind of understanding. First of all, it's perverse. That you want to have sexual contact or intercourse with your own mother. But as I continued my studies in psychology, the deeper meaning and understanding of that is this. It goes outside of the physical form of sex or physical form of attachment. But it's a mental form that a lot of men have towards their mother, to where they cannot detach. And even if mother shows love or more interest in the father or another man, that the child, the young man or the son, he becomes intimidated by that relationship. And because he's intimidated by the relationship, he acts out in a negative way. There's a lot of validity to that statement. There's a lot of men who cannot do anything without their mothers. There are a lot of men who do not know how to detach or receive from their mothers in a healthy way. They're so used to mother bailing them out of everything. They're so used to going to mother to take care of every situation. There's some men who don't know how to pay a light bill without their mother. There's some men who don't even have a bank account, don't know how to take care or handle their own money without their mother. And if it's not their mother, it's the female that's in their life that is pretty much controlling everything. The level and the burden of responsibility is all placed on her. That's the Oedipus complex. So even the crazy thinking of Sigmund Freud was kind of exaggerated. Inside of that crazy thinking is some truth. Just like the story of Oedipus, Oedipus Rex. He didn't know that he married his mother. He didn't know that he killed his father. But because he did those things and they had children together, nothing was able to live. All of his children died. His wife, his mother, who was his mother, killed herself. And Oedipus himself, when he found out what happened, when he found out that he had really killed his father and that he had married and had sex and had children with his mother, he gouged his eyes out. Because he was so disappointed in what had taken place in his life. He didn't mean it to happen, but that's how the turn of events took place with Oedipus. Sigmund Freud uses it to understand, to try to make you understand the psyche of a man when he has the wrong kind of relationship with his mother. Look, there's a such thing as incest. We all know that. But we're talking beyond incest, where there's not a physical thing, but there's a mental relationship going on between that son and that mother. And any male that comes into that mother's life, the son feels threatened by, and it makes him act out in certain ways. It makes him act disrespectful to the male. It makes him look to the female for everything. It's like he can't do anything without mama. And if it's not mama, because when mama died, he's so confused, he gravitates to a woman who's just like mama to him. And when he gets a woman that's like his mother, he looks at her instead of his companion, he looks at her as a mother. In other words, he expects her to nurture him like a baby, even though he's in his 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it may be. He has an Oedipus complex. You see, the Oedipus complex destroys a man. It deals with the masculinity of a man. It deals with placing the masculinity of a man in the correct place and make him have the right kind of connection and relationship with his mother. One that is not perverted. And listen, when I say perverted, don't just think sexually or things like that. It's perverted when a man cannot release of his mother. He's so clung to his mother that he can't pay a bill, he can't eat, he can't live, he can't do nothing on his own without his mother. That's perverted. The same applies when he chooses a woman who he puts that same burden of responsibility on. He can't do anything without her. She got to take care of the bills. She got to take care of the job. She got to be in charge of everything that goes on. And he's just simply there as a male, as a liability, as opposed to being an asset. As men, we are assets. We're not liabilities. If you're dependent on your mama for everything in your 30s and 40s and 50s and whatever, how old you may be, you have an Oedipus complex. If every time you run into any kind of situation, you don't figure it out for yourself like a man, you got to keep running to your mama, you have an Oedipus complex. If you can't be the kind of man that stands on your own 2 feet, that have your own, that's in control of your own future, your own destiny, you have to have a woman that you clinging on to take care of everything. You have an Oedipus complex, and you may not even realize it. Just like in the Greek story, Oedipus Rex didn't realize what he was doing. He didn't realize that the man he killed was actually his biological father. He didn't realize the woman he married was his biological mother. He didn't realize the woman who conceived his children was actually his own mother, and those children were actually his brothers and sisters. That's how twisted the Oedipus complex is. So to bring clarity to Sigmund Freud's understanding in today's world, in the times we live in, the Oedipus complex twists your mind. It makes everything around you dirty. It makes everything around you toxic. You have no real respect for the woman because all you know how to do is use her. You have no respect for the man, definitely, because any man comes in that woman's life, no matter at what level, you're intimidated by it. And it makes you act out a certain way. You act a certain way. That creates negativity and twistedness. just like in Oedipus' life. When Oedipus found out how twisted his situation was, he gouged his own eyes out, blinded himself, because he was sickened to even see what he was involved in. See, that's where the Oedipus complex comes from, the root of that kind of story. And we as men today, we should not suffer from the Oedipus complex. Some of you don't realize that you have the Oedipus complex. Listen, if you came up around your mother, she may have been the only one to raise you. She's trying to go on with her life, and she meets someone, another man comes into their life, into her life. You take it offensively. Why? Because you have an Oedipus complex. You're twisted up in the brain. You're so used to mama doing everything for you. She becomes your wife. And when you get a wife or you get a woman, you're so messed up because of the Oedipus complex, you treat your woman like your mama. Like she's your mama. And not your companion. That makes you one. You see, these are the dynamics of the Oedipus complex. This is how it can ruin and twist up the mindset and understanding of a real man. If you are a real man. Detach from your mother in a healthy way. Always love her, but you're not 3 years old anymore. Some of you 30, 40, 50, 60. And long as mama lives, you're so dependent on mama, you can't do nothing. So when the Lord called mama home, most of you be messed up in your head. Because you never knew how to function like a man when mama was alive and in your life. You had an Oedipus complex. Listen, I'm speaking strongly on it because many men miss out on this today. This type of talk, this type of understanding. They don't even realize they have an Oedipus complex or what it is. It's simply a man who does not know how to detach properly and healthily from his mother. He stays in the dependency stage, like he was when he was a baby, like he was when he was in the womb, like he was when he was on her breast. He stays in that stage psychologically, even when he's in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever it may be. And because he's been in that stage, he hasn't been able to stand like a man. He has an Oedipus complex. It's the worst thing for a real man to have. It's the reason many men cannot stay married. It's the reason many men run from woman to woman. Oedipus complex. Don't even know it. It's the reason some men don't want their mother to be happy. They don't want mama to have another man in their life that may take her time. Oedipus complex. This is where we failed our young men. We failed them. And I'm going to say this truthfully. The women, mothers, as loving as you are, you failed some of these young men in producing that Oedipus complex inside of them. Let him go on and be a man. Let him fall down sometimes. Let him have to figure out the situations he creates on his own. It's not that you don't love him, but you can't pick him up every time. He has to learn to pick himself up. And what you'll be doing is creating and making a better man. You'll be making a stronger man. So whatever woman he chooses and have inside of his life, she'll have a man and not a male who's operating as though he's still inside the womb or on the breast of his mother. He has an Oedipus complex. But here at the Real Man Movement, we step on top of all of the hard issues. How do we do it? We do it with real conversation. We do it with realness. You are not a real man if you have an Oedipus complex. And I've just spent about 20 minutes talking about what an Oedipus complex is. Do you have an Oedipus complex? Are you so attached to your mother that you can't do anything without her? Is it like you're still living on her breast and you're 30 and 40 years old? Is it like she's still cradling you in her arms to bring comfort to you because you can't be comfortable in your own self? You've got an Oedipus complex. But we identify the problem here at the Real Man Movement. You have to come off of a strange relationship with your mother or with women and create a relationship that's healthy. One where you stand as a man. One where when you fall, you figure it out. Mama gotta go on with her life. Mama may be suffering with ailments and pains in her body. And here you come with your mess and your drama and you bring it to your mama. Because you don't know nowhere else to go. You're so used to mama stepping in and handling it. Be a man. Don't have an Oedipus complex. Listen, with that, I'm going to stop the tank today. Salute to all my subscribers. Look, give the videos a thumbs up. We need this positive male enforcement to go as far as it possibly can go. And Tank Commander is on the tank, and I'm moving the tank forward, baby. Get on the tank with the Tank Commander and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Tank Commander and the Real Man Movement. Also, you can catch me on Facebook, and you can catch me on Instagram at tank.commander.zulu. Remember, the world loves a real man, baby. And fear no one but God, baby. No one but God. Tank Commander Zulu, signing out.